Hey guys, it's Matt here, welcome back, and today we're taking a look at some earphones made by Trend Labs. They actually sent me them out to have a look at and to review, and these are the new ones called Nova. So these are some pretty cool wireless earphones. They're very minimal, and I do quite like the case. I like how it's round, and it has this twisting mechanism, although sometimes it can be a little bit stiff, especially when my hands are wet or my hands are cold. But overall, I think maybe they can improve that on a next design, but it's not really much of a big deal, and most of the time it's fine. But on the other side, you actually have a battery pack, so it's actually got a power on button, a micro USB, a USB to actually charge up your device, so you can plug in pretty much any cable for your phone, and then you also have a 4-light battery indicator as well, so it tells you how much charge is left inside the case. The battery life is pretty good considering how small they are. You get around 3 hours of usage when listening to around 70%, 60% volume, and you also get 60 hours plus listening time when you charge up the earphones again using the case. So you can keep recharging them and get 60 hours. Obviously that doesn't include the recharge time. And the micro USB is simply used to charge up the actual case itself, which does take a fair amount of time. From my experience, it takes around 4 or 5 hours, but it's not too bad. But the design is very minimalistic, it's all completely black. I'm not too sure if they have different colors, but I think the standard is just black. So there's really not a lot of branding on it. You have a few logos and the website link on the back. The earphones clip in magnetically and they automatically start charging when they're in the case. And also keep in mind, when you put them back in the case, they'll automatically turn off as well. Now they don't automatically switch on when you take them out the case. You will actually have to hold down the buttons until they power on, and first time I had to hold them down continuously for around 7 or 8 seconds to put them into pairing mode. But you only pair one earphone with your phone, and then the other earphone will automatically connect to the left one. So the left is the primary earphone, and that's the one that will connect to all your devices. But it's pretty straightforward. You just hold the button down for 7 or 8 seconds, and then it'll go into pairing mode, and then you simply connect to Nova inside your Bluetooth on your device. So really not too difficult. Now in terms of connection, this does use Bluetooth 4.1, so it doesn't use the new Bluetooth 5.0, which is compatible with the Samsung Galaxy S8, but it actually uses the older 4.1. In terms of the range isn't that good. It's maybe around 10 meters I've found, maybe a little bit less than that. It's not amazing, and everyday items that get in the way can cause it to interfere that I've found. But when wearing them while my phone's in my pocket, I've not really had that many issues. Sometimes it does have the odd hiccup, and it'll sort of like just disconnect for like a split second, and then it will start playing music again, but honestly it doesn't really happen that much. It's probably happened to me about 2 or 3 times since I've owned the earphones, and I've had them for around a month, so it's not much of a big deal, and most of the time they're absolutely great. But in terms of how they sound, they're actually really good for the size. They're not quite as good as the other earphones that I reviewed, the Anchor ones, but those ones are a lot more expensive. These ones are only priced around $69 or £52 right now. I think there is a slight sale on. But for that price range, these are really, really good. They have some pretty good bass, and overall, they are really pleasant when listening to pretty much any sort of song. So if you're really just for music, then these are great. In terms of watching videos, like people on YouTube, stuff like that, it's not the best I've heard, but it does sound crisp and fairly clear, so it's pretty good. The volume isn't as loud as I'd like it to be maybe. I found that I really did crank up that volume when listening to songs, especially when watching movies. I tend to max it out, whereas on other earphones I tend to keep it quite low. So that was a little bit of a disappointment, but the overall general sound quality is very, very good. And the earphones are also very comfortable when in your ears. It does come with some replaceable earbuds to fit different sized ears, but personally, the medium-sized ones out of the box fit absolutely great, and they do fit my ears pretty good, but I have quite small ears, so it means they're quite snug, and they do fit really tight in my ears, but I can imagine if you had bigger ears, there isn't a lot of shape to them, so I can imagine they could fall out quite easily, so you might want to watch out for that in case you accidentally lose them when you're out and about. You really don't want that to happen. Another gripe I've had is with the case. It's a little bit larger than I would like, and the shape is a bit difficult to sort of bring it around to transport it. Now it does fit okay in my jacket pocket, but it really doesn't fit in my jeans that great. And for guys, they don't really have a bag or anything like that, so it's kind of hard to bring it around. But when comparing it to Anker's Zolo earphones, the case is a lot smaller. It's also more rectangular, so it does tend to fit in my pocket a little bit easier. Now I must admit, that one is also not that easy to put in your pocket. They're quite thick, these things, and the Anker one's slightly thicker, but I really do prefer the design of the Anker one. You can just flip it open, take them out, whereas this one, it's more of you twist it. But it's really not much of a big deal, and the Anchor one is actually a lot more expensive, so it really depends on the price range you're aiming for. Now, if I'm to actually go ahead and compare this case to the AirPods case made by Apple, there is quite a substantial difference. The AirPods are very easy to access the earphones, and the case is also a lot smaller. This one is a lot more clunky, but you have to keep in mind that the AirPods are $160 and these are $60, so there is a lot of difference. Now, the case may be big, but the earphone is one of the smallest earphones that I've seen out of any. It's a lot smaller than the Zolo earphone made by Anchor, and it's also even smaller than the Airpod. It actually is pretty much the same size, a little bit of a different shape, and you don't have the little bits that stick out your ears that makes it look like toothbrush ends. So for me, that's an absolute win. And I would definitely recommend these. I'd give these around an 8 out of 10, and these are definitely a bang for your buck, so they're definitely worth going ahead and checking out. Anyway guys, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Peace out, guys.